Nothing is the way it seems. Discerning man from machine. Dominate as to erase. Wiping man off Earth's face. Fueling engines through deceit. To eradicate humanity. Man is obsolete. Erased. Extinct. What's up, guys? It's Tim from Magyar Arcade here, back with another music countdown. Today we're ranking all 10 studio albums of the band Fear Factory. Now, for those not familiar with them, here's the rundown. Fear Factory is an industrial metal band formed in, where else? LA. Formed in 1989, originally known as Ulceration, then Fear the Factory, and then finally just Fear Factory. Credited as one of the first groups to fuse industrial and metal together, as well as feature both melodic singing and death growls. A lot of their songs and music are inspired by futuristic sci-fi films like Terminator and Blade Runner, as well as books like 1984. Guitarist Dino Casares and original drummer Raymond Herrera founded the band later after recruiting longtime singer Burton C. Bell and eventually bassist Christian O. Wolbers. This would be the lineup going forward for the next plus decade. However, in 2001, the band began to fall apart as creative differences formed a rift between the members, and eventually the group disbanded. However, they would reunite a year or two later without guitarist Dino. Christian would take over the guitar duties for a while until they went on another hiatus. In 2009, vocalist Burton C. Bell announced that he and original guitarist Dino Casares had reconciled their friendship and planned to once again reform the band along with the current bassist Byron Strout, as well as his strapping young lad bandmate Gene Hoglan to play drums. Wolbs and Herrera unfortunately got the boot, but the band was back and stronger than ever. This version of the band would see various changes to the rhythm section, with Burton and Dino being the primary members. In 2016, Burton and Dino found themselves in a legal battle against former bandmates Christian and Raymond, which prevented them from releasing the then upcoming album and using the Fear Factory namesake. Ultimately, by 2020, Burton would once again leave the band due to him and Dino having another falling out, and as he stated, a consistent series of dishonest representations and unfounded accusations from past and present band members. Wow, talk about a shitload of drama over the years, huh? Anyways, let's get to the countdown. Starting off our countdown at the bottom of our list is Transgression. Released in 2005, the name really says it all, as this was indeed a transgression against us, the fans. Being the second of two albums not to feature Dino, this record is basically Fear Factory trying to be everything that they're not. Exchanging their futuristic sci-fi industrial elements for a bunch of radio-friendly songs that just left a bad taste in everyone's mouths. The only good song is probably the title track Transgression, but even that contains Burton C. Bell's most half-assed performance possible at the end of the chorus. So yeah, Transgression, total piece of shit album, 1 out of 5. At number 9, we have The Industrialist. Released in 2012, this record isn't terrible, but it's still pretty weak. The band certainly doesn't offer anything new or fresh here, and most of the songs are forgettable. Single, Recharger, and God Eater are both good songs, but that's about it in terms of highlights. So yeah, The Industrialist, easily the band's second worst album, 2 out of 5. At number 8, we have Digimortal. Now that the very short list of bad albums is over with, it's time to get into the good stuff. I know a bunch of people are going to be mad that I put this one so low, but this record was definitely a big step back compared to what the band had done previously at this point in their career. Released in 2001, this album was definitely aimed at the more Linkin Park crowd, with the band cashing in on the whole nu metal trend while it was still hot. While this change worked for bands like Machine Head, it didn't go so well for Fear Factory. Don't get me wrong though, this record is actually pretty good. It starts off slow with the opener What Will Become, but quickly gains momentum with songs like Damaged and the title track Digimortal. The singles Lichpin and Dark Bodies are straight up banger, and Acres of Skin has become a setlist staple for the band's live shows. The only track I don't like on here is Back the Fuck Up, which features that guy from Cypress Hill, as well as Burton's cringeworthy attempt at rapping. However, Memory Implants is one of my favorite closers on a Fear Factory album, and a great way to end the record. So yeah, despite being rough around the edges, solid effort, 3 out of 5. At number 7, we have Archetype. Released in 2004, this would be the first of two albums not to feature Dino. While it's by no means a classic, it's still a step up from their previous effort. Slave Labor and Cyberwaste are both straight up bangers. The title track Archetype is really good too, and even features a jab at Dino. Default Judgment features a killer bass tone, and the duo of Human Shields and Ascension would have been a great way to close the record. However, they chose to end it with a crappy Nirvana cover, which is probably the only bad song on here. So yeah, Archetype, another solid effort, 3 out of 5. At number 6, we have Soul of a New Machine. Fear Factory's debut album, released in 1992, was definitely a game changer. The group hadn't yet found their signature sound and was definitely a totally different band at the time, with a sort of death metal Ministry style. Regardless, it's a great debut without a single bad track. There's so many great songs on here like Martyr, Scapegoat, Crisis, Scum Breathe, Big God Rape Souls, and more. Not much else I can say, but Soul of the New Machine, 4 out of 5. At number 5, we have Genexus. Released in 2015, this is another great addition to Fear Factory's stellar catalog of albums. Autonomous Combat System is a great opener, but unfortunately costs the album major points in the ranking for stealing chords from one of their other songs. Atonized and Regenerate are my favorite songs on this record. Singles Dielectric and Soul Hacker are both great as well. Shirks of Execution features elements of their sound from Digimortal and just makes it sound 10 times better. Expiration Date is another amazing closer, even if it runs a little bit longer than it should. But yeah, Genexus, another great album, 4 out of 5. At number 4, we have Aggression Continuum. Fear Factory's most recent album, released just last year in 2021, and will sadly be the last to feature vocalist Burton C. Bell following his departure from the band. However, the album serves as a fine swan song for him and is one of the best in the band's career. Single Disruptor is an absolute banger, and the title track Aggression Continuum is probably my favorite song on here, along with Purity. Cognitive Dissonance and Monolith are both amazing, with the latter offering for the first time a guitar solo. So yeah, Aggression Continuum, yet another great album, 4 out of 5. At number 3, we have Mechanize. Released in 2010, this was one hell of a comeback album after a few questionable efforts, and a prime example that a back-to-basics approach can work with a few new ideas sprinkled in. It features the return of Dino, and the record really shows that the band just wasn't the same without him, and that he, along with Burton, truly are the heart and soul of Fear Factory. All the classic signature electronic sci-fi soundscape and mechanical percussions return courtesy of unofficial fifth member, Rez Fulber, who is absent on the band's previous record, Transgression. Right from the get-go, the title track and opener Mechanized make it perfectly clear that Fear Factory is back and better than ever. Industrial Discipline and Fear Campaign offer some of the band's best guitar riffs and clean vocals heard in years. Octodizer and Controlled Demolition are pile-driving eargasms, and Designing the Enemy is both very heavy and melodic at the same time. While there is some filler in the form of Metallic Division, the closer Final Exit is a great way to wrap things up. Mechanized might not reinvent the wheel by any means, but it didn't need to. 4 out of 5. Now, before we get into our top 2, I just want to say both of these albums are solid perfection and masterpieces in their own rights, and it was really hard to pick one, but just like Highlander, there can be only one. And with that being said, our number 2 pick is Obsolete. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that this wasn't number 1, but this is my countdown. I run the show, so tough shit. Anyway, the second of Fear Factory's back-to-back masterpieces was released in 1998, a concept album that tells the tale of protagonist Edge Crusher and his struggle to free humanity from the tyrannical reign of Securitron and its army of mechanized smasher devourers. It's definitely something like Terminator meets 1984, but even without this, the music can speak for itself. Every track on this record is awesome. Shock, Edge Crusher, Smasher Devourer, the opening blast beats to Securitron is just so iconic. Descent, High Tech Hate, Freedom or Fire, they're all incredible. The title track Obsolete even features the first of 2 appearances by the legendary Gary Newman reciting the song's lyrics at the start. Resurrection is one of the band's most iconic songs, and Timeless is my favorite closer on a Fear Factory album. So yeah, Obsolete, an absolute must-listen, 5 out of 5. And finally, at number 1, we have Demanufacture. Fear Factory's second studio album, released in 1995, and the first of 2 back-to-back masterpieces. Once again, all the songs on here are awesome, and I honestly like them even better than most of the songs on Obsolete. The title track and opener, Demanufacture, is hands down my favorite opener on a Fear Factory album. Zero Signal was my introduction to the band as it was featured on the Mortal Kombat movie soundtrack. Replica and New Breed are both absolutely crushing. HK and Piss Christ are both classic Fear Factory at its finest, that are both heavy and haunting with the help of Res Fulber's signature programming and samples from Terminator 2 being sprinkled in. The album ends with the incredible A Therapy for Pain that begins the trend of lengthy closers that eventually drifts off into pieces straight from the darkest dystopian futures. And yeah, Demanufacture, another masterpiece of an album, 5 out of 5. Well guys, that's all of the Fear Factory albums so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you next time. Later.